Welcome back. Today we're talking about dating and men. Okay, ladies, so can you just share a little bit about your journey of dating and marriage?
For me, like I said in the earlier segment, it was like, I became a Christian. No one taught me what it looked like to date. No one taught me what it looked like to be pursued. There was no treasures. There was no Hope Foundation. Anyone that had gone before to say, this could be a healthy way to do this. So for me, like I said, I got drunk, got pregnant, and got married, all within a very quick period of time. And now I have 3 phenomenal daughters to show for it, but lived a very difficult, dysfunctional, oppressive, dark marriage to a man who I thought it was love. It was just like all of my life I'd been looking for a knight in shining armor. And I used to think the knight in shining armor was the one who didn't give me heroin when I first asked for it. Like, oh wow, he must really love me. He's not going to give me, a substance that could kill me. Wow, he's my hero. And then with this guy, it was like, oh wow, I'm pregnant. He's actually going to marry me. Instead of before when the other guys had asked me to have an abortion. It was like, oh wow, he must really love me. So I didn't actually know what functional looked like. So we journeyed a really difficult marriage. Like I say, I have 3 of the world's most phenomenal daughters as the treasures from that marriage. But the journey of separation, the journey of divorce, I say to people, I didn't get married to get divorced. It wasn't what I signed up for. And so again, it was like this, I'd looked back over my life and I felt like a failure so many times that it was like, I'm going to fight for this marriage to the bitter end. Even if I'm the only one that shows up for these marriage counseling sessions, I'm going to fight for this. Until the counselor looked at me one day and he said to me, you're asking someone, your husband, to love you the way that the word tells him to love you. And it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, if he is doing that, and what he knows of love is what he's showing you, you may never be satisfied. And it was just like, whoa. So then that journey of separation and divorce and navigating my own pain, my own journey. He left 6 months after the ministry was founded and released and launched publicly. And it was like, oh, did I choose ministry over marriage? And, like all of these things. And it was like, did I do that? Did I do that? Navigating my own heart, caring for my own heart, caring for my daughters. It's been an intense one. But I do know when I look back over the journey, I can truly say that it's not a cliche to say, I'm lonely, but I'm not alone.
That's awesome.
This could be an entire episode, but I'll try to keep it brief. Essentially, when I left the industry, I took time off dating, and then once I started dating, I really wanted to get it right. I really wanted to do it right, and so I dated a guy from church who was in ministry and, was a virgin, and we read the right books, and we went to the counseling, and we did everything, quote unquote right. And I think in a lot of ways I had relied on this false hope that I found the perfect formula for a perfect life in some ways. And so we actually got along really well. We didn't fight. He was kind to me. He encouraged me in my passions. But there was some other stuff going on where I feel like in some ways our dysfunction was compatible. And so I recognize, and I can take responsibility for my part, that I went into the marriage more so, parenting him and wanting to be a good wife and a good helpmate, but taking responsibility from even more than was my fair share. And so my baggage and his stuff just kind of collided, and in a way it was a perfect storm. And just through a series of events and some losses and some grief, and just found ourselves facing some pain together as a couple, he started making different choices, and he started choosing some addictions, alcohol, and then eventually ended up having affairs with other women. And so I just, I felt like the rug was pulled out from under me. I felt like I had done, quote unquote, the right things and made the right choices, and here I found myself in this situation. And so for me, it was a really difficult, painful season, but a season where I wouldn't take it back, because I'm thankful that I've learned more about myself and my codependency and how that was really infiltrating all of the different areas of my life. And so went on this journey, because for a while I was like, this is his problem, his fault, he's got to figure it out, he made the mess, he has to clean it up. And then I just felt like God very gently began kind of taking me on this journey of looking at myself and looking at my contributions and my dysfunction and how I can be a healthier person, and really the revelation that my recovery didn't have to depend on his. So whether or not he ever chose to get healthy, I was going to have to choose to get healthy. And so that's the choice I made. And, for a long time, I was standing and believing for our marriage and pursuing and being available for, I would say, reconciliation, but wanting him to really lead in that, because I had never let him lead before. And so really looking to him to do that. And he, at the end of the day, he didn't choose our marriage. And I found myself having to go through a lot of grief recovery. But I am in a place now where it was so painful. I wouldn't wish on it on anybody, but I'm more content and more whole than I've ever been. And I'm thankful for the healing work that God has done in me. And my life is not perfect. Now I'm a single mom running a ministry. Most days I wake up and think, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. But life's not perfect, but I love it. And I'm content, and I'm expectant for my future. And I know, I believe that God has great things in store for me.
We believe that too. Thank you guys for being so brave and vulnerable and sharing that with us today. And so, Chrissy, you are newly engaged. So can you just speak a little bit to you've talked in earlier episodes about dating and kind of what it was like on the journey, but can you share with us the dating journey that you've just been on and what that's been like building to marriage?
Well, like I said before, I was a relationship addict, and I lived with many different guys, and sometimes I would even overlap them if I had to, because I didn't want to be alone. But when I got out of the business, that pattern continued until 2 years ago. And there was a whole year where God just didn't bring the right guy, and even if I wanted to date somebody, they wouldn't date me. So that year, I felt like God was like protecting me. And getting me prepared for the next season, which is when I actually did a fast from men. And but during that time, I did talk to one guy, but he lived in Houston. So, and we started doing Bible study together before I went on my fast. So I'm like, well, he lives far away, and I didn't feel like God was telling me that he needed to be included, so I didn't include him. But it was a friendship. For a whole year, we were just nothing but friends, and did Bible study, and he listened to me for 3 hours a night sometimes. And then after the year was up, it wasn't until February that we actually started dating, and then we recently got engaged. And it's been really, really amazing, because it's been a pure relationship. There's been no, I don't know what first base is or second, but we haven't crossed them.
You haven't been to the bases.
No.
You haven't visited any of the bases.
No, it's been really amazing, and I feel loved by a man for the first time.
It's beautiful. What somebody said to me once when I was in the midst of my brokenness, and she just said to me, the man that God has for you will pursue you in holiness. And I didn't even know what that meant until I actually saw it in action, like someone who is able to walk in purity and just loves me for me. And it's the most freeing thing, and so worth waiting for. So worth all the sacrifices.
Absolutely.
Thank you, ladies, for sharing. And actually, that's all we have time for this segment. But next up, we're going to answer some of your questions with the panel.